Hi, I'm Larry Puckett. Well, as I promised you in my last video, today we're going to take a look at how well the WWScenics progress layering system actually works. So I have everything laid out here for you to do the demo of how the layering system works, and as soon as we roll the opening, we'll get started, so stick around. Hit that little red subscribe button, and when the little bell comes up, click on it and click all. Now, I've already prepared several containers of static grass to use in this demo, but I did want to show you first how the deballer works with the static grass. So I've got this 6mm wild meadow grass that we'll give it a test with. But first, I want to tell you where you can purchase the progress layering system. Now, if you're located in the UK, you can just go online to the WWScenics.com website, place an order through them, and they'll send it to you without any problem right there in the UK. Now, for those of you who are located here in the United States or in Canada and possibly other areas, I can tell you that Amazon does sell a certain amount of their materials, so you can check the Amazon.com website and you can order it there. They also have a store on the Etsy website, and you can purchase just about everything, I think, in their line through their Etsy store, and they will ship it to you from the UK. Now, for those of you that have never used Etsy before, it can be kind of a convoluted process to find a storefront there. So I have placed a direct link in the description for this video that will take you directly to the WWScenics.com Etsy store. So you'll be able to go directly there and browse everything they've got. And hopefully in the near future, they're going to set up an arrangement with a dealer over here in the US that can actually ship it directly to you from the US, so you won't have to wait for it to come from the UK. Okay, let's go ahead and take a look at how the deballer works. Now, as I told you the other day when I went through all the different products that come in the kit, this is called their deballer. And it's basically an open grid type sieve you can see here in the bottom. And this is their 6mm wild meadow grass. And if you can see through the package there, you can see that it is kind of balled up. So let me show you how this works. Okay, I'm just going to pull out a bit of this because we're going to use this later on in the demo. And we'll lay it right there. And then all I'm going to do is take this and run it back and forth over the opening in the sieve, basically. And as you can see, we're getting a nice breakup of the balls and getting the static grass coming through fairly evenly down here. Okay, so that's it. Went through the whole batch there. And then I'm just going to take this and knock it down here into this cup. Okay, that finishes it off. Okay, so I've just got a piece of cardboard that I'm going to use for the demo. And we'll start with the basing glue that I showed you the other day. Now, a couple of people asked me about the glue and what this stuff is made of, and I said in the video the other day, it's a polymer acrylic adhesive. And I did a bunch of searches online, and a lot of products came up, but you can't tell from the searches on the internet whether or not it really is a polymer acrylic, or if they're just coming up with an adhesive in a spray can. One thing to be aware of, though, this is a water-based polymer acrylic, so it cleans up quite easily with water. Okay, let's go ahead and get a start with this. Now, as I said in the other video, what I recommend doing is getting the applicator all loaded and ready to go. So I'm just going to take that, and I'm going to put a generous amount in here, so that we'll be able to do it, hopefully with one charge. Okay, there we go. Maybe a little bit more. And I'm going to put the lid on. Okay, so I have the applicator all loaded, ready to go with the 2mm spring grass. That's going to be the base coat. And I'm going to now apply some of the basing glue And we'll just spread that on here, form a nice patch. There we go, that should do it. I had a jar of water handy for that to go into so that it's not going to dry and be a problem for me later. Now, one of the things that you'll see that Martin talks about in his video demonstrations is that when you're doing this, you don't need to actually plug the alligator clip into your scenery. You can just hold it right here. And what it's going to do is it's going to form a static electric field between the clip and the positive electrode, which is at the base here, or the top of this cup. So let's turn it on and give it a shot and see what it does. That comes out of there pretty well, that's for sure. Okay, turn that off. So I took a minute to clean everything up, get the excess static grass off, and you can see we've got a real nice patch here laid out. Looks like a nice little putting green, doesn't it? And you can see from the side here, looking at it, we've got a good stand up on the grass. So next, we're going to apply the 4mm autumn green static grass to it. And I've already loaded it into the applicator. So let me go ahead. I'll give this a good shake. And then we'll spray on a nice coating. Okay, there. That's enough of that. And we'll turn it on and go to work. Okay, it's on. And I'm trying not to make it all in one place, give it a little bit of a patchy effect. Okay, oh, that's doing very nice there. Okay, let's turn it off. And you can see, because the electrode is at the top of the cup, you don't get any sparking at all. Okay, so there we have an application of the 4mm grass. And let me go ahead and dump the excess of that, and we'll move on to the next one. Okay, so again, I cleaned up and put everything away, and you can see this stuff is standing up, bolt upright. Very nice application there. And that's 4mm static grass. Okay, I've already loaded the applicator with the 4mm patchy grass, so let's give that a shot. And this time, I'm going to create real patches. So, and that's enough. Okay, so we've got the layering adhesive sprayed on, and I've got the ProGrass applicator ready to go. So I'm going to flip that on, and we'll go with the patchy grass. Okay, turn that off. Okay, so here's what it looks like now that we've got our patchy grass added to it. And it is really building up into a nice textured patch of grass. Now, I know some people are going to ask me, what's the difference between doing it this way and just taking all of these different fibers, mixing them all together, and just applying it in one batch? Well, for one thing, you're not going to get that sequential buildup. You're just going to get a big mix. And what this gives you, it gives you a base layer, it gives you the buildup in patches. So it's not all in the same places. So what I'm going to be doing next is adding the 4mm dead grass to it. And again, I'm going to set it up so that there are patches of it located around the grass area. So let's see how that works. Okay, I'm trying not to put it on too heavily in any one spot. Okay, let me crank it up and we'll give it a shot. Okay, there. So, not taking much time for any one area. But again, we've got a nice buildup. You see the patching coming in here, got a little bit of a browner area here, greener in certain areas, and that's what you want to go for, because out there in Mother Nature, you know, there's nothing out there that is even. It's all a mix of this. You only get that evenness when you get out onto the golf course or into your neighbor's front yard. Okay, so there's our application of the, I believe that one was the dead grass. So we're getting a nice consistent buildup there, and you can see it's forming quite a dense stand of grass now. Okay, so the last thing we're going to do is the 6mm wild meadow. Okay, let me get the static grass applicator filled with our 6mm static grass. Okay, so I'm just going to give this again a spotty, patchy application, and then we'll put on the tall meadowgrass there. I'm going to leave the center of it kind of bare. Okay. And you'll see I'm not using very much of the layering adhesive in between these applications. It really does not take a whole lot of this stuff to go a long way. Okay, turn it on. And here we go. And we're going to see this 6mm stuff can be difficult to get it to stand up very well. So we're going to see how this works. Okay, there we go. I think that's enough before I cover up the whole patch with 6mm. So let me turn this off and get it ready, and we'll take a look. Okay, here we go. So here's the finished product. You can see how nicely everything is standing up nice and straight. Very little falling over there. And I'm just going to bring this in so you can take a close look at it. Hopefully the camera will keep focusing that close. So that gives you an idea of the type of coverage you can get and how well the applicator does with 2, 4, and 6mm static grass. Now, another thing that Martin does that I'm not going to attempt to do in this demo is he will take his hands and use what he calls his sausage fingers to smoosh it up, just mush it all around and create ripples or ridges in the finished product, and then go over and redo that all over again. And it gives it that look of a field of grass that's been blown down by a heavy wind and a storm or something of that nature. And it's a very effective technique in a lot of locations. But that's something I'm going to leave for you to try on your own once you get your layering system kit. That's it for this part of it. Now, one of the things that I promised you was I would do a side-by-side comparison using Woodland Scenics static grass, Noch static grass, and the WWScenics static grass. So let me get set up for that, and we'll give it a shot. I took another piece of cardboard, and I lined it, and I've labeled it Noch, Woodland Scenics, and WWScenics. And I have some of the Noch 6mm blend. I have Woodland Scenics, and this is 7mm, so it's a little bit tougher. And then I've got the 6mm WWScenics grass here. So the first one, I'll go ahead and we'll do the Noch. So let me get that set up. And I've got the 6mm Noch in here, so let's give it a shot. Okay, that should be enough. Okay, so I got everything cleaned up here and dumped the excess so that you can see. So the Noch on the right, Woodland Scenics there in the center. Give you a look at that from the side. Noch, Woodland Scenics, okay. So as you can see, a lot of that Woodland Scenics is laying over on its side. Not quite as much with the Noch. So for the final test, we'll use the 6mm wild meadow grass from WWScenics. Okay, so I've already put the static grass in the applicator. Let's apply a layer of the basing glue here for the WWScenics. And we'll spread that out again, just like before. Okay, it's on, and we can start applying it. Okay, there we go. Now I'll dump the excess here, and then I'll be right back. Here is the Noch, and you can see it's kind of thin, but it does fairly well. And this is 6mm Noch static grass. Now let's take a closer look at that. There you go. You can get an idea of that one and how well it stands up. Next to it is the Woodland Scenics. Now this one is 7mm static grass here. So it's a little bit longer, just a touch longer than the other two. But, and I don't know if that's the reason why, but as you can see, it had a little bit more problem. It does stand up, but there is a lot of it that's over at an angle, and it's just not standing bolt upright as it should. Okay, next to that, this is the WWScenics, and it is 6mm. So we'll take a look at that, and you can see we've got a good, very good upright. I'm trying to get that to focus back here. There we go, it's focusing now. Sometimes it focuses forward at an angle like this. Okay, so you can see that the WWScenics performs very well. Matter of fact, just sitting here looking at it, I would say that of the three, it is by far the best of them. Well, that's it with today's look at the WWScenics Progress Layering System. So I think it makes a great way to produce very, very good, very realistic results for your model railroad, because it gives you that ability to layer colors, create patches, and just build up sequential layers of static grass and produce something that really looks quite good. Now, as I said at the beginning of the video, you can find this available at the WWScenics.com website, and also here in the US, you can get it through Amazon, and you can get it through WWScenics Etsy store. And as I said earlier, I'll put links and that information in the description to this video. So take a look there. And I'll also add links to a couple of videos on this method. Okay, so have a great week, and I'll see you here at the end of the week again with another video. This time we'll be back at the module. We'll be adding the foam layer to the top, and we'll start transferring the track plane. Bye now.